What's poppin'? Real ones. Logan Murdock here, a.k.a. Logie Boo, not the two. Went old school today, just me and Raja on Real Ones. We talked about the Lakers, man, the gift that keeps on giving, and Luka Dončić, and how they've been playing great and how they should continue to play great once LeBron is back in the lineup. Then we talk a little bit about a Cooper Flagg and how his development has been maybe tainted, or has it actually been a good thing for him? Raja makes the point for both. And then we get into a little Ja situation. We hadn't heard Raja's thoughts on the Ja situation. It's very nuanced. There's a lot of moving parts within that I don't think is talked about a lot. And I think that we had to do a little bit more, especially we haven't talked to Raja about it in a long time. And his perspective is so invaluable. So it was really good to lock in with him on that. A couple housekeeping notes. You know what it is every Tuesday. realonesmailbag@gmail.com. 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 Got a question for you. Do you need me to repeat it? realonesmailbag@gmail.com. So make sure you tap in.
You're listening to the Ringer NBA show presented by FanDuel. FanDuel now displays your bet directly on your phone's lock screen. And with the latest updates to the live events and player pages, it's never been easier to be part of the game. And Missouri, get excited because FanDuel's coming your way December 1st. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now and play your game. 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
Cliff, play the theme music. What's poppin'? Real ones. Logan Murdock here. Raja Bell there. Cliff in the motherfucking cut. All right, man. We're talking Lakers, the gift that keeps on giving. We're talking Cooper Flagg. We're going to be talking maybe some Ja and some Amen Thompson if we get to it, and then real one of the week. But first, the Los Angeles Lakers, Raja, who are 7-2, near the top of the Western Conference. They are 13th in net rating. They are in the Raja zone and offensive rating at 5th in offensive rating, but they're not quite in the Raja zone yet in defensive rating at 18th. But Luka has been on a tear. He's averaging 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists on 50% shooting. He's the first player in NBA history with 200-plus points, 25-plus rebounds, and 25-plus assists through the first 5 games of the season. He's in a 100th percentile usage rate. And, man, he looks skinnier than me. He's running the break. He's looking like White Magic Johnson. It's a sight to behold. Me and you both had some, both reservations and also some optimism on what the Luka-led team could be. Not necessarily Luka, but just the team around him. I remember being at opening night and seeing just basically it was give the ball to Luka and like everybody else run around and have the offense around him. And that gave us both some pause. But now we're like 2.5 weeks in, Raja. Like, how far can he take the Lakers by himself? I know LeBron might be coming in about a couple weeks, but what have you seen from Luka? What do you like from Luka? And what do you like about this Lakers team this early in the season?
What have I seen from Luka? Luka just looks physically really, really good. He looks like he's dedicated himself to getting in the type of shape that allows him to do what he does already for just longer stretches of time and more effectively and more efficiently through the course of a game. And if you extrapolate that out, like hopefully through the course of a season, right, without having to endure some of those injuries. So like from a play perspective, he's doing what he has always done. Like when he's been healthy and you put the ball in his hands, he's the type of player that I've said this before. Like there are very few people that can really kind of marionette the game and just pull all the strings the way he can pull them and move the pieces around the chessboard. So that's not surprising to me at all. Seeing him at this kind of fitness level with these kind of legs in the passing lanes, out on the break, dunking the ball a bit like that, that's refreshing to see, and that's exciting if you're a Laker fan. Austin Reeves continues to take steps. When Luka was not available early, Austin was cooking. Like he was cooking, and he's a solid, real solid number 2 right now. Like I'm not going to hate. Like I'd be interested to see if he could carry that out. Like when LeBron comes back, if here's the thing, because I'm rambling, but here's the thing. What happens? They look really well put together around Luka as currently constructed, as they're out on the floor right now. He's got the ball. He's got the usage rate. The pieces are around him in a way that he really feels comfortable and allows him to be the best version of him. What that looks like when you reintroduce LeBron, if you reintroduce LeBron, is going to be interesting to me. Like, it's going to be very interesting for me to watch that dynamic, both on the court, at the post-game presser. That's going to be interesting to me because right now they have it rolling, and there's a sweet spot for a player. What he likes to have around him, how he likes to handle his business, that puts him in like the best emotional state, the best physical state to be successful. Luka's in that spot right now with the pieces that you have on the floor with him.
Yeah. There's two ways this can go with LeBron. There's the sulking LeBron or the egotistical LeBron that is seeing his mortality, not just as a career, but also in a Laker uniform. And he just fucks things up. And, with subliminal, LeBron stuff or, tweets or whatever, what have you. Or there is the other Bron that I think is probably more realistic here. I want to tell a story about a couple years ago. Well, not a couple years ago, but in 2001, during that Lakers run where Kobe Bryant, I think he missed like 8 or 9 games throughout the regular season of that year. This was during their back-to-back title run during the season. And at the beginning of that season, he was going gung-ho scoring. I'm trying to prove to you guys that this can be my team. And then he got injured. I forgot what the injury is, but he sat his ass down and Shaq went on a run. And he was able to see what Shaq was doing on the court, kind of scout from the sidelines. And what NBA players, especially of that ilk of Kobe Bryant and just the all-time stars, he kind of got to see where he fits in alongside Shaq and put together both what he was doing aggressively scoring and then also feeding Shaq to where he needs to go. And then they went on that 15-1 run, which in the playoffs, because Kobe had best of both worlds, where he was both facilitating and he was being aggressive. I think that's what Bron can be, because I think one of the things that we've seen from Luka, not just this season, but throughout his career, is that, and you've seen this also with LeBron too, where they're guys that you could just put dudes around them and the team will be successful, right? LeBron isn't that guy right now because he's 41 years old, but by and large, that's been the kind of guy he's been throughout his career. It's really hard to get to that point. You have to be really great to do that. But if just give me a group of dudes, we'll figure it out. That's the type of player that Luka is. And I think for the first time in his career, for this to be successful, LeBron just has to be one of the dudes on there, right? And he needs to just be like, yo, I'm going to run the break with you. You need me. I'm hauling ass, right?
Right.
I'm playing off of you. Whatever you need, I'm playing off of you, right? Because it is a Luka-centric offense right now. And maybe they stagger. Maybe J.J. Redick staggers both of them where, Bron gets his, because Kobe and Shaq used to stagger all the time, right? Where it'll be a Kobe time and it'll be a Shaq time. I think that would be the best recipe for right now. And then when they are together to close games, you can pick your poison on who's hot. But I think the best way to go about this is LeBron to fall in line, especially because they are, they're rolling right now. You don't want to mess up that vibe. You just want to enhance the vibe. And that, I think that, but the way that you do that is just like falling in line. Yo, I'm in the corner if you need me. I'm cutting. I'm hauling ass. I'm in the post. I'm pick and rolling. Whatever you need, Luka. I'm here to add to what you are doing as opposed to getting my own. And LeBron is a smart enough player. And also he's been engaged a lot on the sideline. I saw him against when the San Antonio Spurs down the stretch of that. You could tell he was revving to get back into the flow. He was coaching guys on the sidelines. He was, calling charges, excited, slapping fives. And it was a good thing. But I think that if he just enhances the vibe, he's going to be fine. If he tries to take away from it, which I don't think he's going to. Because one thing about LeBron is and you've had this experience, when he sees that the team has a chance to win, he is locked in. Like he is in it. And this is the chance for I think this is one of those things where he sees a chance to win in a winning group, and I think that he's going to fall in line.
A few things. I don't. There's no part of me that thinks LeBron will come back and try to, try to be, pissy about the situation and trying to cause a little chaos in the media. I don't think so. He's too much of a professional to do that. So I don't think that would ever be his intent. You mentioned the Kobe Shaq situation. That offense kind of organically, the triangle, will lend itself to like them being able to kind of, equally distribute the ball, the touches and scoring areas, and be able to kind of navigate needing two people to work like that. It's just set more. It's more of a set offense, right? There are movements that are going to happen almost every time down the court. There's more structure there when you're trying to get said player. You talked about Luka being able to put 4 or 5 guys around him. LeBron used to be able to do that. The people who can do that are advantage creators on their own. Like what they do is get by their man in some capacity, collapsing defenses, given that they have the space to do that. And then they have the uncanny ability to always know what play is the right play to be made with the pass when their ability to score is taken away. Like not everybody can do that. LeBron surely used to be able to do that. And so when you play LeBron and Luka together, the question then becomes if LeBron is in this headspace where he is going to help and add to the vibes to use your term. Does he have the skill set that complements Luka's ability to beat his man every time and then pass the ball, right? And so he has become a better spot-up shooter for sure. He did complement him in terms of getting out on the break last year and kind of let Luka spread his wings and do his thing. It will be interesting to see how good they can be with LeBron in that role, because that's not LeBron. If you understand what I'm saying, like that's a role player.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't mean to marginalize LeBron at all. LeBron has been Superman forever. But if you're asking him to do that, then he's not LeBron. He becomes a 3-and-D guy, essentially. And if we're going to let Luka just keep doing our thing. So it's going to be interesting. And this is you can have all the intent in the world. Your intent can be fantastic. You want what's best for the team. I have no doubt, to your point, that if LeBron sees a team with an opportunity to win, he's all in. You can never underestimate how much a star like that is used to being a star like that. And when it's not available to them in that way anymore, you can't quantify what happens. There's no way to predict it. You don't know. You just don't know, right? And so we're going to sit back and watch. And I too hope that he can make that transition in a way that very few players have been able to make a true transition like that. I am the guy, like the face of the league guy, to like, hey, bro, you take that ball. I'm going to go run over here in this corner. I'll outlet to you on the break.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about Will Chamberlain when he led the league in assists, right? Was like a real towards the back end of his career to win that 72 title. I think about Kareem towards that end. But again,
Kareem,
that's really hard to do. And like Kareem has been very open about how hard that was him to see
that's what I'm saying.
Responsibility. Yeah.
And that happened. That didn't happen, I imagine. I mean, I was watching, but like I wasn't like locked into team dynamics at that point, body language, etc. I imagine that happened gradually for Kareem and with a little bit of pushback from Kareem. Absolutely. So how quickly they can make that dynamic change on the fly is going to be like, to some degree, it's going to be the tail of the tape for what their season can ultimately be. Like I too agree that LeBron is as smart a player as there is out there. I know that he knows championships are directly tied to like the ultimate legacy that he leaves. So will he be chasing them? For sure. You just don't know what it's like to not be the guy until somebody tells you you're not the guy.
Yeah, I want to give credit to one JJ Redick, who has had to manage all of these things. And I think what I've seen, especially during the super team era, by and large, I guess like towards the back end of the super team era, is when you put guys together, stars together, you kind of just I think coaches get in the way and they kind of just resort to, okay, they're great players, they're going to figure it out. I think what JJ has done, especially on the fly here, and I think that's why he needed some Coach of the Year consideration last year, is he's able to put star players within the framework of a really good motion offense where he puts them in different places, right? Like, one thing that I've really been happy to see with Luka is they've been putting him in different positions to score, right? I think in Dallas, it was, similar to Harden, dribble up. If you got a pass it out off of a drive or step back three, right? That was pretty much his offense.
Pick and roll or ISO, right?
Exactly, right? Here, you're seeing him going into the post. You're seeing him kick to somebody else, go through an action, get the ball back. And LeBron is doing the same thing in the offense when you saw it last year, right? Which is why I think they can both kind of eat within the framework of the offense. And it's not going to be like, okay, you get the ball. No, I'm going to get the ball. No. You get the ball. It's your turn. And make it a lot of very predictable, because when you have stars, stars still want to get easy buckets too. They can get hard buckets, and that's something, but they want to get the easy ones. Like, there was a play that kind of went viral, but I thought it was really indicative of like just how easy it has been for Luka within this offense, where it was against the Spurs. They get him in on the post, they double him, and he just goes right through and gets a layup. It was beautiful to watch. Even LeBron and AR was impressed. But things like that and getting him in places where he's not normally able to get to has been great. And skinny Luka is just unlocked something completely different in his game. And if he can stay at this weight wherever it is, it's going to be great, because he can probe people. He can run the break by himself. He could put so much more pressure on the defense. And I think that can really unlock when LeBron comes back, man, because he's a different Luka than he was. It's like they traded for Luka and then they got another Luka 6 months later that is just balling.
Well, it's interesting. Like, I'll have a thought on that. But the move he made against San Antonio, I was bugging off. Like, what was everyone bugging about? He stepped through and laid the ball in. Like, he just stepped through and laid it. That was interesting to me. But, like, he's playing fantastic. And you are right in terms of, I always loved when scorers or primary, focal points of offenses are moved around the court. Because then as a defender, I don't have landmarks. I talk about landmarks a lot. I talk about knowing where you're going to be. And if I know where you're going to be and already have that figured out, like I can devise, different ways to try to, limit your ability to be effective. But when you're moved around and you're catching me in different places on the floor and you're exploring, where I'm the most vulnerable as a defender, whether that's out there in space or whether that's, putting me in some sort of like help situation, or whether that's in just purely putting me down, on the post. Like, once you find that, then you work that scenario that night, right? But like probing to find where he's going to have the best success that night is, I love coaches when they do that. I tend to agree with you in like motion when the ball's moving and LeBron and Luka both being able to eat. But we all know that that's 85% of the game. And then there's 15% of the game when it's time to win, maybe only against the teams that look just like you or that are slightly better than you, where it's going to be back and forth for the last half of the fourth quarter. And we're going back and forth, and we're not in that motion anymore. You watch NBA games, like all the ones that really matter, they boil down to what? Like with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, back and forth. Best player with the ball. Like, how are we going to get him the ball? Everybody else kind of hold a little bit, and then let's figure this out. Like, it just works out like that. That's the area that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the area because that's going to dictate winning and losing. Like, if you can get that right, I'm not worried about all the stuff leading up to that. They're talented. It's LeBron James. It's Luka. Like, you got, Austin Reeves is playing great. They're going to win a lot of games, but like, that portion of the game against those level teams is the area where I'm talking about really, really drilling in and watching this dynamic and what they're going to do with the ball, and really what one person is going to do off the ball in that scenario.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the first game against OKC when they're all back, right? Or the Denvers. Or even the San Antonio's. By the way, that San Antonio game was so fun to watch. I definitely am getting old because I was watching the game on West Coast, and I was like, I looked at the time. It was like 3 minutes left, and I'm like, bro, it's 10 o'clock. I'm tired, bro. I'm going to sleep. And I go to sleep right before the barrage of threes and like just where all the action went on. And I'm like, that's tough. I don't think I've ever related to Raja Moore, like or Beck Moore. Like I'm here.
I don't even attempt to watch those. That's just a tape. That's an immediate tape. Like we'll catch that in the morning. Yeah, we'll catch that in the morning.
But yo, did you real quick? And this is our Wemby time, real quick. Just give me. I'm just 2 minutes on Wemby, dog. Did you see him and how crazy he was? Even though he fouled out, like they put him like on a switch with I think it was Marcus Smart, where he just like he sizes them up. No, it was on Dalton, and he sizes them up. 1, 2, 3 at the top of the key. Rock the cradle. Just
No, it's great. Again, he's a freak. As of late, though, like point production down. Teams are starting to really kind of understand where they might be vulnerable. I do think, even at the beginning of that Spurs game, I was watching it and I was like, man, give him the ball.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about with Howard last time that Wemby is like, yo, this is mine now, right? Like, and maybe it was too early for that, but I wanted them to come out in that Laker game and go right at him over and over again. Like just to say, hey, bro, this is what it's going to be all night. Come with your double, do what you need to do. And there were a lot of like loose possessions for San Antonio early in that with other dudes trying to get their shit off. And I just did not appreciate it. I thought that was a miss a little bit, quite frankly, on their part. But in retrospect, over the last 3 games, and the last time I was on, I had said, the De'Aaron Fox of it all, like maybe you look to move that. I actually think he helps them. I actually think he helps organize, get people, he's just a vet in that space. Like, Harper's going to be great, but you do need some seasoning in terms of running a show, like getting the pieces where they need to be, setting the table, controlling the tempo, making sure that we're not giving that ball to Wemby at 22 feet so they can come and get up under his feet and double him. Like, we're going to, hey, bro, take your ass down there. Get it at 11.
Yep.
Like, get it at 11 where it's just make or miss at that point because they can't do nothing with you down there. Like, there's some of that I think he will help them with.
Yeah, man. Get him the ball early. You sound like me when I'm talking to Chip Kelly in my mind. Like, just give Genty the fucking ball. Just give him the ball early and often. He is our offense. Stop fucking playing. Sorry. I'm still heartbroken from last night. Anyway, speaking of seasoning, Raja, on the other side of the break, let's talk Cooper Flagg. The Ringer NBA show is brought to you by FanDuel. All right. Your Friday nights just got a little louder because NBA Happy Hour is happening on FanDuel. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel's got limited time specials to pregame the weekend. Boost, bonuses, surprises, all live in the app. Let's take a look at the slate. I think I'm going to take the over on the Knicks Heat, and I think I'm going to take the over on points and rebounds for Karl Towns. And I think in the Warriors San Antonio Spurs, I'm going to take the over. And then I'm going to take the over on points, rebounds, and assists for Victor Wembanyama. That's NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com/RingerNBA to get started. 21 years and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, and we're back. Let's talk some Cooper Flagg and development. Both of Raja's bags. Let's put some stats on it first. Mavericks are last in the West. Oh, in the same conference as the Sacramento Kings. He currently ranks 3rd in points among rookies, 2nd in rebounds, 6th in assists. The Mavs are down bad. They took Clay out of the starting lineup for D'Angelo Russell. He had 20 points and 9 rebounds in 35 minutes, but they lost to the Pelicans, who got their first win. Congratulations, Pelicans. my sleeper team. Anyways, the question that I just kind of want to go with you, and I think it's mostly like circumstantial because of just where the Mavericks are. Just the fact that they traded for Anthony Davis to, quote, be in air quotes, a contender. And so they're pushing this agenda like, hey, we're going to try to compete for a title. We have players and vets. And I think it's just a hodgepodge of guys. Whereas in a perfect world, in a perfect world for a first round pick, you would just like have the roster barren and just methodically build around this rookie. They don't have that luxury right now. So I think that's why the development of Cooper Flagg is a bit off track right now. I just don't know what you do in short of like sitting everybody else out and just letting him cook I don't know what else you do with this team. And it's weird to see what like Jason Kidd, his coaching, because he is a coach for a contender, and it's weird to see him kind of like figure out Cooper Flagg through this development. And also Cooper Flagg's struggles are magnified because he's playing out of position and he's playing for expectations that aren't realistic. I say all that to ask, what the hell do you do with Cooper Flagg right now in this scenario? What is the path forward, and how do the Mavs get there?
Listen, if I had answers to those questions,
you'd just be yelling at the TV
to be like, yeah, or I'd be sitting in somebody's like, I'd be in somebody's front office, like you know. I don't have answers. Here's what I would say to that. Everyone understood or should understand by now that window that Nico talked about, that window for winning a championship did not include this year. It should once Kyrie went down, that window was no longer open as related to winning a championship. So he can say whatever he wants forward facing to the media, but the bottom line is this is about Cooper Flagg's development. That's what this is about, right? And Anthony Davis's health to some degree. Because if we can accomplish keeping him healthy and viable, and Cooper can learn on the job and develop, well, theoretically, when we get Kyrie back next year, we don't have a really good first round, like number one pick that's learning fresh, out of college 1 year, reclassed up in high school. So he's a baby. Like we have a second year pro that understands the ropes of this thing. How you achieve that with him and the setup for that, I think, is pretty good though. Like while they're not like this barren, cupboard of talent where you could just drop him in and he goes for 30 every night, that's never who he was. So I made the argument when they drafted him that the setup for him was really good. He's not giving him the ball and saying, go get 30 for us, and that's going to be your development plan. Not prudent. It's just not. You have to have patience if you're a Mavs fan. I know that sucks. You guys had Luka. You don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. This is going to look good some nights. It's going to look great some nights. It's going to look terrible some nights. But you have to take the approach of not a day trader, but like a long-term investor, and just zoom out. And like day trading is going to be really it's going to fluctuate. There are going to be highs, there are going to be lows. You're going to ride those waves. You'll be miserable. But if you zoom out and just know that if you stay invested and you stay patient, you stay diversified, that thing ultimately is going to keep going up. That's Cooper Flagg over the course of this year. So have patience with him. Sit back and watch. Zoom out. Don't ride the highs. Don't ride the lows. Every night he goes out there, he is learning something. He's a baby. And I don't mean that in any kind of negative way. Like he reclassed up a year in high school to get to Duke early. He played one season at Duke, and now he's in the NBA.
So basically, he's just a freshman. He's basically a college freshman right now at this point.
That's incredible. And he's got all of this talent. He's got all of these boxes that he can check to win basketball games. He's always won basketball games. That's not a fluke. It's going to take time for him to develop those on the NBA scale. And it's going to take him time to figure out what he needs to be for any team to have a chance to win games. So you let him work his way through it. Should there be some point guard play in that? I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's a good skill set to have. I do. I think that if you can learn to play that position adequately, it gives you a versatility that moving forward in your career is going to prove dividends down the road. Do I think he's a point guard? Do I think J. Kidd should look at him like himself and think he's going to be this big pass first, magic like point guard? I don't think that's the right way to approach that either. But some point guard play is good. This isn't a great answer, but what I would say you need to do with that specific team as it relates to Cooper's development is take a step back, understand that that's what this year is about. That's all this year is about. And it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to be something that happens over the course of these 82 games and, quite frankly, next summer.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on the point guard thing. And the reason why I'm with you is because in a perfect world, you would just do that anyway and just try shit because there's no expectations. There's none of that. Like if J. Kidd did this without Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving on the roster, they would just be trying stuff with Cooper Flagg and just say, hey, we don't care if we win 20 games this season. Who gives a fuck? But like because they set this expectation of championships, that's why I think Jason Kidd is getting the criticism. Nico Harris is getting the criticism. Also, man,
who in their right mind, like aside from Nico, who in their right fucking mind thought they were going to be
Nico? I don't think Nico believed that, to be honest with you. I think Nico was just saying stuff. He was copping pleas just because he made a terrible decision. One person that I am disappointed in just watching is just Anthony Davis, man. This is the season of all seasons that you get your ass in shape and have one of the best years of your career. And he came in overweight, out of shape, and it's not really a surprise that he's injured so fast because this was like the late stage prove it year. This happens sometimes, right? Like where you're like, okay, you've been a number 2 for a while. People like Raja, you think you're number 1, but people like Raja are like, nah, man, he's actually a number 2. You guys are missing the plot. This is how you reclaim your number 1 status as a player.
He don't think he's a number 1.
Rock with me here. So the fact is he had another shot at that right here, and I think it just completely just blew up in their faces because if he goes hard and he leads this team, it makes it easier for Cooper Flagg. It makes it easier for people around. Maybe if this team won 45 games as in a play-in, then you kind of can set the expectations of like, man, hey, we can get Kyrie coming in next year. There's some excitement going into next year. Maybe we can be a contender. Now it's like, man, and there's been other things. Lively's been hurt. There's been people that have been in and out of the lineup. But like going into next season, you're even with Cooper Flagg on the roster, you're looking at a whole restructuring. Like if I am in charge there, I'm definitely restructuring everything because it doesn't look like any hope is on the horizon, right? You have a Kyrie Irving who is coming off an ACL. There's been whispers that he's going to come back around like December out of nowhere, which doesn't seem great.
Y'all laughed at me when I told y'all that on the pod last year when he got hurt. Go find it, Cliff. They laughed at me. Said January, everybody laughing at me.
You did. But even with the ACL recovery, like I'm not expecting him to be full strength for another one.
No, that's
until like 18 months at least, right? But they don't have the luxury of time. And so like you're going into next year and you're like, okay, Kyrie has to prove it at like going into his mid-30s. You have a season where Anthony Davis was out of shape and injured, and the only hope you have right now is Cooper Flagg. That's not great for Nico. That's not great for the front office. You got poor Klay. Poor Klay.
Yeah, that's tough.
Klay was just trying to be on vibes. He kind of swindled people and it got Mavericks fans thinking he was going to be something and a contributor to a championship team. And I don't think really watched the last part of his last Warriors season. He kind of is who he is at this point of his career, but he's getting vilified right now. It's just tough in the Mavericks. I think the overall point that I'm trying to make though is that this should be a better situation for Cooper Flagg as a young person, but it's just not because there's so many other cooks in the kitchen that have so many different types of agendas in Dallas, and there doesn't seem like there is a laser focus on one thing. It's like, oh, we're going to be a champion. No, we're gonna try to develop Cooper Flagg. Oh, we're going to wait till Kyrie comes back. Oh, is Anthony Davis? He's still a defensive player, right? No, damn, he's out of shape. Like, there's so many different things, and when you have a young guy like that, particularly in this hard cap era, era, you need to be methodical and you need to make sure you're putting pieces around him at the right time. And I don't think the Mavericks are doing that.
Well, yeah, I think I slightly disagree because I think you can achieve. I mean, first of all, I think that if you got behind closed doors and asked people what they were trying to achieve in Dallas this year, and you got a genuine answer, it would be develop Cooper Flagg. Now, they might say whatever they say to the media, but I think that is agenda and objective numero uno for anyone around that Dallas franchise. You're looking at your roster. I think that there would be hope in at least for me. I don't know that I would give up on the Anthony Davis, Kyrie, Cooper Flagg situation rolling into next year. I just don't know that I would because I know people think Anthony Davis is a number one. I made the joke and kind of interrupted you. I don't even think that Anthony Davis thinks he's a number one. Right? Like, I think he feels much better being in the number two role where he can come in there and just be an accent to like what you have going on in the number one spot. I was disappointed in his level of professionalism. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I don't know him, so like this might be unfair, but sometimes I question whether he like loves it like that. Like I just do. That might not be fair to him, and I apologize to any of his fans, but that's just genuine. Like somebody, but he didn't come in the greatest shape, and that was disappointing because I had laid out why I thought he was very protective. And it would be a very nice kind of like safe environment for Coop to start learning how to swim in the NBA, right? Like there was a barrier there between him and all the sharks that are swimming around in those waters, dog. And that barrier would have been Anthony Davis if he were at the best version of himself. Sure, playing out of his normal role and his ideal role, but still able to your point, like win games and have you in a situation where vibes aren't just completely low rolling into Kyrie coming back next year. And so my hope is that he gets healthy and he's able to kind of do that and they're able to become viable over the course of this year, not in any championship level conversations, but just in a way where you've got a little momentum. I do think you will continue to see Coop get better. And the plan for Cooper getting better doesn't have to be give him the ball and get out of his way. It doesn't have to be that. If he was going to be SGA moving forward, that's the plan. Hey, bro, get this cat as many touches as we can get him in as many offensive like scenarios as we can get him in. Let's figure out who he is as this offensive weapon. It's going to be 30 a game over, for 5, 6, 7 years in a row. If that's who he was going to be, then the recipe to develop him is give him the ball. That's not Coop. Coop's a Swiss Army knife. He's going to do a little bit of everything. So you don't have to have that unique setup to develop him. So I do think that they can develop him with what they've got going on there because he doesn't project, to me at least, to be that, A1 offensive player, at least in the near future.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is the guys that are tasked to develop him don't have any incentive to do so, right? Like on the roster, right? You have a guy like Kyrie coming back from ACL. He ain't gonna be like, yo, I'm not gonna attach my last few years in the league into developing somebody. I'm trying to win a chip. I mean, I don't know what Anthony Davis necessarily wants to be, but like if you see him this season, he's definitely not invested in developing a Cooper Flagg, or else he would have came in shape. He would have been balling. He would have been like, okay, my job is to get you right. It's it's not a David Robinson, Tim Duncan type of situation. Okay.
No, my bad, because I got to interject there. That's not my job.
No, I get that.
Davis.
No,
if I'm Kyrie, not my job.
No. I agree. But what I'm saying is though, like that's why I said the too many cooks in the kitchen thing, right? There's too many different types of agendas, whether they are fair or not, right? But when you are trying to bring a rookie of that type along, you need guys in there that are going to try to, where their focus is like, we're going to develop, I'm going to get out, we're all going to develop, I'm going to either go to another team or I'm going to develop this thing with you. With this type of roster, that's not realistic.
I'm pushing back again because let's go to Philly with VJ Edgecombe. Like you don't see Tyrese Maxey worried about developing VJ Edgecombe. Like, we're going to go out there, try to win games. I'm going to do what I do. You're going to develop because you're out here on the court. You're going to develop because, like, you're playing basketball and you've got these opportunities that night after night, and we keep stacking these nights and these practices. That's what happens. So, like, I feel what you're saying. I just don't think you have to have a barren desert of talent to let something like Coop develop. You can have AD when he's good and he's playing well. You can have Kyrie that's trying to win a championship. That I don't think that necessarily has to hinder Coop's ability or stunt his ability to grow. It might not expedite that in terms of his top end ability, but he can still grow in that and see how he can contribute to winning in that window if it really exists. And then that's just a more gradual development. You know what I mean? Like, but again, I think some of that is also tied to what he projects to be as an offensive player. Because if he's never going to project to be a 25 to 30 point a night scorer in the NBA, the worst thing that you could do to him is put him in a situation where he's got the ball and he's got no help.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to be really frustrating. He's going to look really bad trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
No doubt.
That's a good point. We haven't, before we get to real one of the week, I want to ask real quick, because we haven't talked to you in a minute. What have you thought of, like, the stuff with Ja? It's right in your bag, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't. It's time, right? Like, we can all agree. Like, this is, like, it's time. I've lived in a glass house before, so I'm not going to throw stones. I became so disgruntled with my situation at one point that I was not the best pro. So I'm not about to sit here and tell you that, no one could ever do that and shame on him. What I will say is I know the signs of that. And when that happens, it was easy when it happened to me. I was old and I wasn't very good. Kick him, like, get his ass out of here. When you've got a talent like Ja and he's in, what should be his prime, it's not that simple. I just think that once you get there, unless there's major structural overhaul, there's no going back. Like, you could Band-Aid it, right? It's like leaks on that boat. You keep slapping a Band-Aid on one and here goes another one. You slap a Band-Aid on that one and there goes another one. Eventually that thing's, coming apart. And so I just feel like we're kind of closely approaching that with Ja. It's unfortunate. I would tell him just from experience, the looks of, like, physical disgust when you're out there on the court, or like lack of care that people, kind of clip and put out there. I feel you in that. I've been there. It's never a good idea, though. It never works out great for you. Like, that never is going to turn around. People are never going to be like, yeah, man, it's always going to look bad for you. So it's unfortunate. Like, I don't know. I said a lot to say very little, but I think it's unfortunate, and I think it's time.
Yeah, man. I think he should look at every game right now as an audition, whether it's because it's very clear right now that, and we've talked about it, talked about it at the live show when Beck got that news leak to him, right? But the Memphis Grizzlies they've said publicly, and I think this is talking to people around Ja and, like, the limited people that I do know, but there's this two plane like system where we're at right now, where it's like Memphis is saying all the right things and saying, like, we love Ja, we want to be with him, and their actions are proving totally different. They don't give you the extension. They piss you off at every turn. They don't get the coach that you say you want, right? Whether or not he's running the office that you may like or may suit you or not, it's somebody that you didn't like. And now we're here, right? And the organization doesn't have your back on this because they suspended you, right? So yeah. I think that the writing is on the wall here. So with that being said, there's just a lot of character stuff with Ja right now that that is going to hinder his ability to get paid in the way that he wants to get paid. And whether it's the Grizzlies or other teams, just for the reputation. And so the only way that you fix that is you say, you know what, fuck all of you guys. fuck everything and all the noise. I'm going to lead this team to the heights that I can lead them to up my value and get up out of here. Like, or I'm going to force your hand to where either you got to pay me or somebody else got to pay me. But we are going to exceed expectations and we are going to ball. But like right now, it just doesn't seem like he's interested in that because like, I mean, he wasn't always the greatest defender, but like some of the defensive lapses right now on tape are pretty jarring now. Yeah. And like the way they're getting clipped and like him not caring and then the presser and on some ways, and I talked about it with Beck the other day, like I feel him. Like if the organization that you know, the Ja's presence in Memphis, if the organization that you have kind of put up on the map in the way that he has post grit and grind is doing you like this, especially like what he's been to that community, I'd be pissed too. I understand. It's just not helping him right now. You know, this just part, it just isn't helping him. And it's unfortunate, but it's going to be a sad day if and when they get rid of him because the writing is on the wall. He's not going to be there for the rest of his career. It's over.
Yeah, it's sad. It's unfortunate. I think that's a great, that's great advice, Logan. Like you can, there's an amount of time, regardless of what anyone says, where things aren't going your way, you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're in your feelings, right? Now, some people don't live in that space as long as others, right? But there's always a fraction of time where you're like, oh, fuck, man, like this sucks, right? Like, right, and then you can get over it. He's kind of living in that right now where, to your point, like, you just got to say, man, fuck it. This is what it is. This isn't really even going to be about the Grizzlies. This could just be selfishly motivated. This is for me. I'm coming out here and my singular performances, my individual performances are going to help lift us to places where I'm restoring all value and faith in me across the league, and that's where he's got to get to. Like and I'm not saying he's sitting there, oh, woe is me, but if like you feeling sorry for yourself a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like there were times in my career where, I'm sulking and shit's not going right and you're like, whatever. And ultimately you got to have it come to Jesus. Like, bro, you sitting here feeling sorry for yourself. Who cares? Like who out there is going to make this better for you? Nobody. Like nobody. What the media is not. They want to keep writing about it. The dude sitting behind you is not. He wants the minutes. Like your teammates aren't. They're trying to do their thing to get paid. Like the only person that can get up out of this shit is you.
Yeah.
So like that's where he's got to get to, and it can be selfishly motivated and be and mutually beneficial. But he's got to get to that point.
Chris Rock said in one of my favorite stand-up specials, he was talking about with having kids and his daughters and stuff, and he was saying the advice that he would give to his daughters is, the world don't give a fuck about you outside of these doors. And the people inside of these doors, little on the fence.
Yeah. No doubt.
But that's true.
No doubt.
Like, I remember just like one of the biggest lessons that I learned in this world is that no one cares. No one cares about you. No one cares about me. No one cares about this pod. No one cares about shit.
Look, man, people.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember. No, I do, because I used to be in gyms again, man. I started coaching little jerkos in the 3rd grade, and I was blessed. Like some of my little guys are doing some really cool shit, playing at some really high level schools. Like it's really cool. But I remember when parents would like listen to me, and maybe it was a lot for like a 4th or 5th grader who has tears in their eyes and shit's happening to them on the court. And my message is like, nobody cares. And like, parents, moms especially, would be like, that's their baby. Like they don't want you to say that. And I'm like, look, do I love this kid? Yeah, man. I'm gonna take him to the pool later and we're gonna have a good time. But like right now, you gotta realize nobody cares. That's the team that's kicking your ass don't care. Those refs that you think are screwed, they don't care. No one cares. Tighten up. And that's where you got to get to. Like, and that's, it's not an easy message. Especially like if we're being honest. I've said this before about camp. You have to have people in your camp that will tell you that. Like Chris Rock.
He doesn't have many people.
I don't know, because I don't know his camp, but he don't seem to have a camp that keeps it all the way a buck with him all the time. Yeah. And you need people in your orbit that are going to. So look, I just got back. I just got back from West Lafayette. I took Ty up to visit Purdue, right? And I was sitting there with Coach Painter, and we were talking, and he told me a story about why he chose to go play at Purdue and for Gene Katie. And it resonated with me because I've had experiences like that. He said, a lot of things. He told his story. He said, and his dad's message to him was like, hey, man, I'm not saying you got to go there, but of all the people that have come through this house, he's the only one that told you the truth. Right? And that resonated with Coach, and that's why he went to Purdue. And I've had situations like that in my life. You have to have people that are going to tell you the truth about shit. Because if you don't have them in your world, you never get to that point where someone can illuminate for you that you're sitting here feeling sorry for yourself and you got to get out of your own way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, I'm like, Memphis is far away from the Bay and from me, but when you do talk to people around the league and you do talk to, some people that are close to him, he doesn't. And then you also have the anecdotal stuff of what you see around him just being in this. It doesn't seem like he has people that are necessarily like pushing him up. It's people that like have something to gain from being around him. That's what it feels like, and that's the unfortunate part of all of this. And like, we could have a whole other pod about that, and I'm sure we will down the line, but it just doesn't. You know the life, Raja. You know how this goes, right? Like, it's just, it's tough. It can be tough to manage when you're in a position like Ja. So I feel for him. But the other thing, though, there are a lot of teams right now that need a point guard. Whole lot of teams. Whole lot of teams that are monitoring the Grizzlies situation that can talk themselves in to not only trading for you, but also giving you an extension.
Hey. Yeah, go ahead and start playing ball, bro. Go ahead and do what you do, Ja. Like, this isn't even in a... if it came across in a hateful kind of like way, it was not meant to be. Like, I am a fan. Get your shit together personally, bro. Go out there and do what you need to do so you get those opportunities. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man. Also, the league's in a better place when Ja is Ja. Like,
straight up.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to give our real ones of the week. Okay, we are back. Raja, do you have your real one of the week?
I did not, but I quickly
Google search.
I quickly just went through my Rolodex of shit that's happened. So I'm going to give real one of the week to one Arch Manning. It's personal. Clearly, everyone knows. Yep, my son's going to Texas, but we were out there 2 weekends and last weekend maybe for the Vandy game. And the reason I'm giving it to him is because he was put in a nearly impossible situation coming into this year, none of which was his fault. He wasn't out there professing to be the next Tom Brady or the best thing that happened to college football, in the last 100 years. He wasn't doing that. He was, quite frankly, telling people, hey, I haven't done anything yet. Like, he was trying to, diffuse it, if you will. And he did not come out playing great. And Texas, as a team, wasn't playing great. And why I give him the real one of the week is because he stood up at that microphone. He held himself accountable. He faced all that scrutiny. He stood in the face of all of that and kept working, kept showing up, kept being what his team needed him to be. Sometimes it looked better than others, but he has continued to get better and better and better. And, specific to the game that I was just at, he looked really, really good. And he's a good kid. Like, I enjoy talking to him and spending time with him when I got the opportunity to do that, and I'm happy for him. Because that's an easy thing to wilt in the face of, and he did not do that. As a matter of fact, he came in on the other side, and he's looking better for it, and I applaud him for that. That's real one type shit.
That's dope, man. I didn't grow up a Texas fan. In fact, I did not become a Texas fan even in the slightest until a nephew of the pod committed
Me
there.
neither.
But it's dope, like, to just see. It made me watch Texas more and just see, what Archie is going through. And that first game was tough. And to have to, play through those expectations and kind of come on the other side of it. Like, the expectations were coming from everybody but Arch and people in that locker room. And so, for him, Sark, it's been dope to see. My real one of the week is probably going to be someone that you guys are surprised for me to say. Maybe not, if you've listened to this pod. But I'm going to give it to one Kendrick Perkins. That is because I watched his appearance on a Out the Mud podcast. It was a really good podcast with Zebo and Tony Allen. And they had him on recently. And I know the big story was what he was talking about with Ja, and which was hilarious. But if you watch the pod, he talked about his journey from being a player going into an analyst role and what he gave up to get into that role. All the vices that he gave up, just being an NBA player, that he gave up to work to be an analyst. He talked about like, giving up weed, giving up just the lifestyle that can be a hindrance when you're a professional athlete, that you can kind of get away with when you're a professional athlete, but when you get to the real world, it's just not conducive to, just living in a real world. And he was just talking about
being productive.
Being productive, yes. Yeah. And he talked about how much he worked to be an analyst at ESPN. And I don't want to give it fully away, but there's a clip on there where he talks about that. And I think you guys should watch it, and it'll give you a real resonation to the person that I know as Perk, and people that have seen him and work with him know as Perk. Because like, he's this dude that he'll say some wild shit. He'll also like say some stuff that you think is wrong, but like the people that work with him know that like he's always down. He worked really hard to get this. I remember when during the pandemic, like he was always just a text or a call away to come on the podcast if I needed him, not just this podcast, but when I was back, the job that I had before this, like, just really just being a really good person towards us, right? And like also just like, yo, I'm down, I got you. And
damn, dog, I'm about to say, you moonlighting on me, bro. You having motherfuckers on the pod, I'm not on the pod.
Bro, we did the pod, all the Perk appearances, you were there. Shut up. But like, I think that he is just, I really just, it really resonated just to see that clip of him just really talking about taking the job seriously, right? And you can say what you want about his performance on the job and what he says, but he takes that shit seriously and he means what he says, right? And so my real one of the week is Perk, because that clip from Out the Mud podcast I thought was a really great is a really good podcast and great podcast. I think that you guys should watch it. And he really came off really great in that, and really honest, right? Like, he ain't perfect and nobody is, but I really just expected the candor and vulnerability from in front of the show with Kendrick Perkins.
Carry on.
Goddamn right. All right, man, I got to go. I got to go up to SAC and watch your guy, Russell Westbrook, play the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I got to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, man. Hey. All right. My bad. Arch, no disrespect, dog. You still a real one. Second real one. Brody.
Yeah. I'm happy for you, buddy.
Like, can we do that? Can we do that, Cliff? Can we do that? I need fucking Howard back on a fucking Zoom call. Get him on FaceTime.
He'll be here Tuesday.
Get him on FaceTime.
Tuesday.
Hey, Russ, don't screw it up before then, bro. Don't screw it up, Russ. Keep it moving.
Well, he has a lot of time to do it. All right, guys. Tap in realonesmailbag@gmail.com, realonesmailbag@gmail.com, realonesmailbag@gmail.com. Me, Howard, and Raja will be there on Tuesday. We'll tap in with you. Talk to y'all soon. All the shits. Bye.
Which is 21 years and older and present in select states for Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.